Well, good morning. Good morning. Glad that you're here. I'm Rabbi Brian, as it says here on the screen. I am hosting this Saturday service. I'm delighted to be able to do it. Whatever time it is, wherever it is that you are, I'm glad that you're here. Some people are watching on the web. I'm glad that you're watching. People are listening to this afterwards. Glad that you're listening. And there are some people who are already here with me. People are still trickling in. But let me give extra props to the people who are here. People who are here, wave, say hi to each other.
Hi,
Hi everybody.
On the web, and people, glad
Good to
you
see
guys
you.
are here. All right. Good morning, and good morning to the people who I see just logged in on Facebook or on Twitch. I can't tell which streaming service you logged in on or on YouTube, but I know that you're here. If you put in comments, there is a chance that I will see them and add it to the discussion. If you are in the Zoom room, as you know, I love to have the microphones open so that people can all participate. So I'm glad that you're here. Blah, 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 blah. I think I've said I'm glad that you're here enough times already. But I am glad that you're here.
And we also are glad that you are here.
If you want to use the chat in Zoom, I do not see that until the service is completely over. So do not private message me. If there's something you want or you need, the chat is moderated. Our friend Joe watches the chat. So thank you, Joe, for doing that. And I thank Alex, as always, and for coming back from illness to be with us today, helping with tech support. All right, so I'm going to start with this idea. Well, first, oh no, I want to
wasn't sick. I was on vacation.
You went to Morro Bay.
I went to Cayucas, California. Spent
Right.
2 nights at a hotel.
Glad you've recovered. I want to start with something that we have not started with, but I thought, this is its absence is really, really loud to me. So I want to acknowledge where I am currently, and I am in Multnomah County, Oregon. And Multnomah County acknowledges that the land we occupy as residents is unceded indigenous land. The Portland metro area rests on the traditional village sites of Multnomah, Wasco, Cowlitz, Klamath, Clackamas, bands of Chinook, Tualatin, Cayupa, Molawa, and other tribes that made their homes among the Columbia River, creating both permanent communities and seasonal encampments. Due to the strategic and systematic efforts to annihilate indigenous people from these lands in history, there are many other nations and tribes that traditionally lived, hunted, and fished in what now Multnomah and Oregon that are not collectively remembered. I wanted to take a moment for us to acknowledge that where we call home might not have been earned home, and that we might be living on land that is not really our own. And I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that. And if you don't know whose land you are sitting on, may I make the recommendation that you do those ancestors the grace of at least finding out who they were, who they are. A somber-ish kind of note to start with, but it feels important to do. If you would care to, in the chat, and Shirley Wayness, who is on Facebook, she has truly not been feeling well. She's had COVID for 20-something days. She says hi.
Oh.
She's here, so we're glad that you're here. Alex, in the chat, can you put in a link to the shared document?
Yes.
If you are able to, and if you have a little extra brain space while the service is going on, while we're having this discussion, if you would keep timestamps of what's going on in the service, I would greatly appreciate that, so that at the end of the service we can post and people can know what was there. We don't have to go into micro detail, but just, from now until whatever time it is, we do an introduction to the service. Oh, there we have it, in land acknowledgement. If you would please, on them, put in double times, so the start time and the end time, because that's the way that YouTube makes sense out of that. So thank you guys for helping with that. And let me say hi to Jocelyn and Amy and Candace and Chad and Lisa and Ann, Patricia, Carol and Bob and people I haven't said yet good morning to. Good morning. I'm glad you guys are all here. We're going to start with a Choose Your Own Adventure. You guys remember these books? Choose Your Own Adventure books? Choose Your Own Adventure. And I wrote it out. And I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to see how this goes. This is Choose Your Own Adventure. And let me read to you. You are on the web. Not right this moment. Right this moment is not that moment. This was written about a different moment that you're on the web. You are on the web, semi-aware of all that is in front of you. All is as you would expect. Nothing surprising. You are doing your thing. Normal. Ordinary. But then, whammo, the unexpected. You receive a CAPTCHA with images, and it declares, select all images of hills to continue. Now we're at the bottom of the page where the choice is. If you... Wait a moment. If you take a breath and consider it a lovely moment to rest, reflect, and peacefully, if you take a breath and consider it a lovely moment to rest and reflect, turn peacefully to the next page. If you cast negative judgments on yourself and others, start this page again.
Oh.
So you get, how many of us have had, I'm going to put on this so I can see all of your faces at the same time. How many of you have been doing your thing on the web and then all of a sudden you get one of those select all images of bicycles and you get frustrated? Is it the bicycles that are the thing that's frustrating? Right? It's the bicycles. It's obviously the bicycles. It's not the bicycles. It's
Train.
It's
Train,
get all
bridges.
the trains. What are the other things you've had to see? Stoplights.
Traffic lights.
Traffic
yeah.
lights.
Bridges.
Road signs.
And
Stairs.
is any one of those images more annoying than another? I don't think so. I don't think it's the images that are the annoying thing.
What if we get the images, but we don't get frustrated?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to, Bob.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're ahead of the page, Bob.
What if
You read ahead, no fair.
What if we had that and we could, like Bob's suggesting, take a moment to say, oh, this is a great opportunity, like we talked about last week, to slow down for a moment. Instead of looking at the images and going, oh, this is going to eat into my time. This is going to make it worse. This makes it that I'm now an extra 20 seconds behind on the task that I was doing. What if instead, next time you saw one of those CAPTCHA select all the bicycles, you thought, hey, this is an opportunity for me to take a breath. We're willing to try it? I got one person willing to try it, and you know what? That's good enough for me. The rest of you? No?
Yeah, I'll try.
Hi, Jocelyn. Good to see you. Hi, Candace. Good to see you. Hi, Betsy. Good to see you. Glad to see you guys are all here. Hi, Michael and Derek and anyone else whose name I haven't said yet. Okay, well, that was the entirety of Choose Your Own Adventure. Glad we did that. Oh.
So I do have a question on that, though, because I'm
Please.
trying to.
Go ahead.
When you first said it, the first thought to me was, okay, prejudging and judging the environment or judging how this is going to impact you. And I came back to a time when someone in my life had looked at me, and the first moment I met them, it was actually a pretty critical moment. Her son was introducing me as his future wife. Anyway, she made it very clear, based on gossip, that I was not approved.
Oh.
And based on gossip. And so that's actually kind of what came up into my head, because this week I forgave her.
Oh, whoa. That's fantastic. I think, Jocelyn, no?
Yeah, that was hard. Actually, I was
Did you just
stumbling
do like a
across-
full breath of air out?
Yeah, I did.
Good for you.
It was I actually stumbled across her obituary, and I don't actually know when she died, but I was looking at some old information from my old hometown, seeing if I can find an article back then, and I stumbled across it, and I went, "Oh my goodness!" And she said 3 words to me in my entire life.
And you were able. That's a great skill. There's a quote, and I have it in an article that's coming up. It's a Robert Brault quote, and I'm afraid I might not get it exactly correctly. But he said, "There's a great peace that happens when we're able to accept the apology of somebody who never gave it."
Ooh.
There's a great peace that happens when we're able to accept the apology of someone who never gave it.
I ended up not marrying her son.
Okay.
And even though he probably, I'm not going to judge that relationship. It may have gone bad. It may have gone good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I always blamed my kind of veering off into other areas in my life on that moment. And honestly, it's not fair to her for me to blame her for that.
And you were able to forgive her, even though you never got a full apology.
I told my doctor, and she told me I needed to get my hormones checked, but it turns out they're fine.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you went to the doctor as well. Keep that all in check. Anyone else have that experience of being able to forgive someone who never gave an apology? I did this actually with my mom. Not too long ago, we were at the kitchen table. We had flown in for my niece's bat mitzvah, and we're sitting at the dining room table. Let me see if I can remember the whole way the story works. Oh, and I was telling my mom about a woman who came up to me. Have I told you guys this story about the woman who comes up to me during the bat mitzvah, and she says, "Rabbi, do you keep kosher?" Did I tell you guys this story?
No.
Oh, so I've been in this rabbi game long enough to know exactly what's going to happen in this. She's going to say, "Rabbi, do you keep kosher?" And really, she's just asking. I'm pretty certain, and it winds up that I was right. She's really just asking so that she can tell me that she does, and she can win that round. So she says, "Rabbi, do you keep kosher?" And I say, and I'm telling this story to my mother and Uncle Ira, and I say, I quoted to her, "I believe that kosher's more about what comes out of my mouth than what goes into my mouth." Isn't that a good quote? That kosher's more about what comes out of my mouth than what goes into my mouth. And to prove that she wasn't listening, she says, "Well, I keep kosher." And I'm telling this story. I'm telling the story to my mom and to Uncle Ira, and Emmett's there, and Jane's hovering near the table. And I say, what I didn't tell the woman was that quote is actually from Jesus shortly after the Sermon on the Mount. That quote's in there. It's in the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Matthew. And it's a great quote, but nobody knows it. And my mother says to Emmett's on the computer. He's backing up Jane's phone. So he's got a computer in front of him. And my mother says to Emmett, check that out. And
Which book?
Jane says, "Jesus, Elaine," that's my mom's name. "Jesus, Elaine, your son's a scholar. I'm pretty sure if he says that's in the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Mark, that it is." And Jane says, "I've had enough." She's with no heat behind it because it's not her mother. She's fantastic. She says, "That's enough. I'm going to bed." She trails off. And I say to my mother, I do my best to help people save face. And I say, well, it is an interesting thing we could look up to see what word is Jesus using to mean kosher. Because obviously in the Greek, it would be in Greek. And what word was Jesus using instead of kosher? And can I figure out? And so I make a little bit of my mom's comment wasn't that insulting. Fine. Later on, Jane comes back. My mom has moved on. Emmett and I are still sitting there at the computer fixing her phone. And Jane comes in and says, "Well, did your mother apologize?" I said, "Yeah." Oh, because my mother did come back in, and my mother said, she said, when I told Emmett to look it up, what I was trying to do, I wasn't insulting you. This is what she said. She said, when I told Emmett to look it up, I wasn't insulting you. I wanted to teach Emmett not to take things for granted, not to take things at face value. I was like, okay. Jane comes back in and I say, my mom apologized. And she said, really? I said, well, I took what she said to be an apology, and that was good enough for me. I took what she said to be an apology, and that was good enough to me. And that was that Robert Brault quote, which I later found was, we get a great sense of peace when we're able to accept the apology that was never offered. So let me offer this for this moment. Bless you. Can you think, I'm sure you can, think of somebody in your life who never offered that apology, that you would be at much greater peace if you accepted the apology they never offered. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not saying in every situation is it, but is there something that, is there a movable, I'm going to go with the Jenga analogy. You know the game Jenga?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a piece that's easily movable in your life situation right here where it won't cause the whole thing to fall down, where you can forgive somebody for something that they've never asked for forgiveness? Can you, do you have a piece that you can easily enough move without, I see a few heads moving with like yes kind of things. I see a few of, yeah, maybe I'll contemplate it. Okay. Well, let's leave that one as a homework for next week. And speaking of homework for next week, we have homework from last week for this week. Science fair. Let me make a note. Forgiveness. That's for next week, forgiveness. Last week I offered you guys the opportunity to do science fair, to pick a project in your own spiritual life, make a hypothesis, seek out some data, see what you can learn. Anyone have a science fair report at the ready, or you want to give us a progress update where you are in your science fair? Yeah, Maria, go right ahead.
So I picked the 4-to-1.
Okay, and tell everyone what that is, because not all of us know what that is.
That was the 4 positive, neutral statements, comments, sort of thing, to 1 negative.
Yeah, to any correction, you have to have 4 positive to neutral statements. Yeah. Okay, tell us, what did you learn, Maria? What did you, and remember everyone, your results may differ, but here's what Maria learned.
Well, I learned that on Saturday, I didn't carry that with me. So it was like, okay, I'm going to start Sunday. And actually, I did quite well. You know, there were times when it was sort of like, okay, it's just sort of a regular moment. But I thought, okay, let's just throw something out. Let's just throw something out there so it's out there.
Is this you interacting with other people, or is this all you within your own mind?
Oh no, I gave up on me within my own mind.
Okay,
this was me interacting.
Okay. So this is you interacting with another human being. Go and tell us what happened again.
Yes. So I was just throwing out comments, sort of just to get to my 4-to-1. Although some of them were, they were positive. And really, the person I interact most with during the week is my mother, right? And it felt good to me because she's recovering, and so she doesn't always see her progress. So those were the things that I mostly commented on. And then once in a while, I found when I was slipping a little or not as aware of it, Mom would say something positive, and then it went quite well this week.
Okay.
I had a for me, I was having a really tough time starting on Monday, sort of thing, and I could hear myself going toward the negative. So I did at one point say to myself, okay, if you can't say anything positive, at least just don't say anything at all.
And this is internally.
This is internally. This
Yeah.
is the internal part.
Thumper.
So
Yeah.
I was
think-
trying to at least hold it to neutral for myself.
So this is thank you, Maria, for sharing this. This is it's really can be a wake up call once you start to see what your baseline is, right? And then we can make progress from there. But just looking at one's baseline and saying, "Holy shit!" If I am honest and I look at the soundtrack to my commentary on my own life within my own head, it's 1 to 4. and the only way to change it is to first be aware of it. So Maria, you good on you. Good on you. Keep up science fair homework. You get a raffle ticket.
Nice. 2. I want 2.
You get 3 because you advocated for yourself. So I'm going to put your name on the back of these. I am going back to putting people's names on the back of them. I don't know if we will have a drawing or not. It depends on whether or not I can get the raffle ticket wheel back from Annie, who has absconded with all my raffle tickets. Anyone else with science fair homework they want to? Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I also did the 1 to 4, and here's an interesting question: did Scott notice?
Oh.
Because he did not really know that I was doing this, right? So, the idea of the 1 to 4 is to say, 4 positive or at least neutral things for every, criticism. And I was trying really hard to make sure that I was saying positive things as opposed to criticism. So the question is did you even notice?
I thought you were being pretty positive.
All right.
Notice.
There we go. So we have proof in the pudding. Well
How did
played.
it make you feel?
Better, I guess.
Yeah, it can't not. It can't not. Anyone we have not heard? Jocelyn, I see you. I want to see if there's anyone we haven't yet heard from who wants to share about their science fair homework. And if you did not do your science fair homework, it's not due yet. It's not due this week. It's not due next week. It's due the very beginning of June. That's not true. It's not ever really due. You don't have to do. Oh, I will. I'm going to harp on that in a moment. Let's go to Jocelyn, and then I'm going to go back to my little rant.
So on the side, when I get bored, I ended up getting into esoteric studies and Kabbalah and things like that. And it's strange. But this time I was actually discovered something that was absolutely delightful. I was studying Saturn, Benna kinds of things. And I found out that in some areas, Saturn is depicted as like the old man with the beard and in a lot of, but however, Saturn is female in some areas.
Well,
So
I
they
would hope
depict him
between the legs.
as an old woman with a beard and all that other stuff. So just the fact that this old man image is actually potentially a crone makes me, since I'm going into that area of my life, makes me feel so much better. Like it kind of, I feel like I connect a little bit more with it.
I love it, Jocelyn. I'd love to talk with you more about that later. I appreciate you bringing that up. Let me a few announcements, and then I'm going to preach towards you guys in a moment. I do want to bring you this first, a little announcement. If you live in Oregon, this is for you. please go to the following website that you see up there, Lift Every Voice Oregon. You can sign petition 17 without having to wait outside New Seasons with somebody to have a clipboard. You can print out the form yourself. You can print out forms for everyone in your household over 18 and have them sign. It's a petition. It's a pretty simple petition, this one. It's this. It's to ban ammunition magazines over 10 rounds and permit a permit to purchase a firearm. And we're trying to get that enough signatures so that we can have that legislation. So if you live in Oregon, please do that. Thank you kindly. Other announcements. Other parts of the science fair, we're trying to do the no complaining.
Yeah, I did that one.
To be brave and honestly answer how you are when somebody asks. And to notice, what do you do? What do you honestly do? And we'll come to this one maybe again in a bit. What do you do when people don't do the thing you think they should be doing? And to just keep a running tally of, here are the reactions that I have when someone doesn't do the thing I think they should be doing. And to keep a list of that, and maybe a scatter plot will come from it. Here's my little bully pulpit part. Hi. You guys say hi back.
Hi.
Hi. I gladly, and seriously gladly, and I'm owed nothing for it, run this service for an hour. I spend hours preparing for this service, and you owe me nothing for that. I do it because I love doing it. I would like you to consider spending an hour of your time working on spiritual development in the week between Saturday services. Right? It's lovely that you're doing it now, but I'd like, and it doesn't have to be 1 full hour. It can just be that slow thing. Every time you're asked, how are you? Answering that question. Every time you get a CAPTCHA page, every time and to see, can I make that a moment of relaxation? I'm going to ask you over the course of the next week to please slowly do something to nudge your spiritual religious life towards the positive. Okay, I'm off my little soapbox now. And okay. I have
Just remember to close the cover.
definitely closed the cupboards.
When you get off your soapbox.
Okay, that's the weird one though, Bob, because Jane gets like if any of the cupboards and doors are open in the kitchen, it drives Jane absolutely batty. So it threw me for a moment. Like, how does Bob know that? So I'm going to give my message to the beloved community. I'm going to give you a 10-minute message. It's going to be like this. Countdown overlay. I'm going to give myself 10-minute time because that went so well last week. We're going to start it again this week. Here goes my 10-minute pitch, my 10-minute talk to you, my beloveds. I'm going to ask everyone to please get some paper and a pen. Get some paper and a pen. And I'm going to ask you in the next 2 minutes to have 1 minute of active pen time. So of the 2 minutes that I'm going to start a timer on, I'm going to ask you to keep your pen moving for at least 1 minute. So you have to add more detail. You can look straight in front of you at the screen in front of yourself, and I want to ask you to make a drawing. I want you to draw yourself. Make a sketch of yourself the way you see it in the Zoom box, whatever you see. And while you're drawing, notice, here's the task at hand. The task is to notice what it is that you're thinking in the 10 minutes. So we got another minute and 30 seconds of drawing time.
Oh.
And you are drawing yourself while thinking whatever it is you notice in your own head as you're doing this. And we got about 50 more seconds. I'm so glad to see so many of you, your pen's moving. You're not just doing one line, you got a whole bunch of lines. You will never have to show the picture you are drawing to another human being.
Good, because my pen's out of ink, sort of.
Okay. And we got 30 more seconds of drawing time. And I will tell you ahead of time what we are going to do. We're going to be looking, so you got another 20 seconds, so 10 more seconds of pen moving on the paper. And I will okay. Here's my drawing. It's hard to tell which is me and which is the drawing of me. I know that. They look so gosh darn similar. And I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about, and this is the topic of today. The topic of today is pride. And there's a lot that I want to say about pride. First of all, we're using often the wrong word. So let me clarify what words that we're using. There's the word pride, and that is a natural emotion. We have pride in our accomplishments. We have pride. Pride's a natural thing to do. There's an exaggeration of pride, which is known as conceit. That's when you have pride, but it has nothing to do with reality. That's a pride that is a dangerous pride. And often authors use the word pride when they meant to use the word conceit. And that makes for this a very difficult conversation. When we talk about the 7 deadly sins, they're not talking about pride. They're talking about conceit. C.S. Lewis, who I've got issues with, but he said that pride is the anti-God. And I loosely quote, he said, anger, greed, and debauchery are flea bites compared to pride. Now, I don't think he meant pride about being proud of your accomplishments. I think he meant about conceit, of thinking that you're haughty, thinking that you're better than. I'm going to bring up a picture. Oh, on the opposite end, and it's not a line, it's maybe an out of balance, and on one end of the out of balance is conceit. On the other end of the out of balance is inferiority, is the feeling that we're not worthy at all, that there's nothing in us that's good. If I told you this is the best drawing really ever, inferiority, pride, or conceit?
Conceit.
It's conceit. But if I showed you, and I can't get my picture to work right now, if I showed you a picture of the challah bread that I made last night, and it looked awesome, I can't get it to show up on my computer right now. If I showed you a picture of my challah bread, and it looks awesome, that's what I want to show you right now. I have pride in that. If I showed you a picture of the stained glass lamp, or if I just show you the stained glass lamp that's behind me here. Come on, stained glass lamp. Oh. Mm-hmm. There it is. This stained glass lamp that I made. I have pride in my skills with stained glass because I've done it for years. Am I conceited that I'm the best stained glass artist ever? No. But I have pride in what I've been able to do, what my stained glass is, and the challah is not showing up. Okay. Conceit, let me teach a little bit. Conceit is led by ego, and it's fueled by desire. It doesn't have to do with it. Oh, I'm no longer sharing my screen. Hold on. Conceit is built out of ego and fueled by desire. Pride comes from the intellect. It has to do with intellect and responsibility. There's a problem with pride in the way that we often use the word pride when we mean conceit, is that we have a sense that pride comes along on its own, and it's as though it comes into our lives and causes us to lose, it creeps in and it causes us to lose caution. And pride creeps in and it causes us to lose friends, and it creeps in and it leads to injury and it causes havoc. But that's conceit. That's not pride. We can and we ought to be proud of ourselves, our accomplishments, and of others. We can be proud of other people. That's one way to see if it's a difference between pride and conceit. You can't conceit someone else. Conceit comes from ego and desire because really at the base of it, and if you think of any president, past especially, being filled with conceit is because deep down there's a huge amount of shame. And you can't be proud of your own actual accomplishments, so you live in a fantasy world of conceit where it seems like you have done things that were not even possible. Shame also exists on the other side here of inferiority, of believing that we are not worthy, that we somehow should be cut off from the group. That I should be shamed, I should have shame of what I am, of who I am. Alex,
Okay.
if you can find us there, thank you. Let me see my other notes here. Where's a... Oh. No, okay.
Betsy Weston has her
Yeah.
hand.
Go ahead, Betsy.
I'm thinking about the way any mother feels about her firstborn baby.
Let's be
I mean,
careful on the
every mother
generalization,
thinks
but go ahead,
this
Betsy.
is the most beautiful baby that's ever been born. And this is sort of I think a conceit that is okay. I mean, it's
Yeah. I have extra pride in my children that goes beyond what they are deserving of. I think that one, I like that exception to the rule, Betsy. Thank you. We'll allow that one. Going back to the pictures that you have, how would you get to be proud of the picture that you drew? Well, we all know the answer to that. It's practice. How did I get to be good at stained glass? I practiced it. How am I getting to be good at baking? I still can't get this picture to show up. Come on. I want to show off my beautiful challah bread from last night. There it is.
Oh, yum.
oh,
I
lovely.
made 10 little pretzel challah boules, which
Oh, awesome.
and I'm proud of that. I don't have conceit. My ego's not all, but I've been baking bread for enough months, years, that I've gotten kind of good at it. And I ask you this. Think about me right now bragging or proud of the bread that you see in front of you there? Does anyone begrudge me and think there's something wrong with my having pride in what I'm doing?
No.
Oh,
Not at all. Why?
Because it looks good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it looks good. Let me see if I can't find the stained glass one. Here, I'm going to show you guys this one. I'm going to take another moment of pride. Look,
Oh,
I've been doing stained glass. These are all lamps that I've been making. I'm working on.
Beautiful.
They are beautiful.
And now comes the part of this which is going to be the most difficult for me. Hold on.
You gonna make challah out of stained glass?
No. I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to challenge myself to do something as soon as I can get to gallery view here.
You could always take food coloring and color different parts of the challah.
Oh, I've
so
done
it would be
that.
stained glass. Oh,
I've done a
cool.
rainbow challah. I recently did a chocolate chip pistachio challah. I have
Oh,
some fun.
yummy.
But what I wanted to challenge myself to do is what I'm doing right now, which is looking at the screen of all of the faces of the people who are here. Because I consider it to be some conceit if I think, look at this service that I built.
Yay.
And I think the next thoughts that are in my head are, oh, Brian, you're going to hurt your arm. How many of you know that phrase? You know that phrase?
Yeah.
From patting yourself on the back.
From patting yourself on the back. And I got the message, as I'm sure most of us did. Don't be conceited. Don't shine. There's the phrase, it's a Chinese aphorism, that the nail that sticks out gets the hammer. Don't shine. Don't
Just
shine
sparkle.
too much. It's dangerous. And so I want to take a moment. I don't know that I can actually do this, so I'm working on it. I'm really proud of the work that I do.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to take in. I can take it in with the stained glass. I can take it in with the challah. Like, I know I'm doing good there. But to look at the serve and look at the people who are here and to feel, well, that's where
You're
I
doing
want
your
to
best.
go to. That I'm doing a good job here with this service, and I'm helping.
Yay.
So I'm gonna
Yes.
just take that piece in. Okay, challenge accepted. I
Amen.
did my piece. Thank you. Okay, I have my next piece of paper with all my next notes on it, but before I do that, I want to just check in, hear back from y'all. Where are we at? My 10-minute timer, I realized my 10-minute sermon timer is great, but as soon as I switched video screens, the timer went off. So I'm assuming that was exactly 10 minutes. Oh, last week, I had you sit for 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, was that a long 5 minutes for some of you? And I took the idea of, oh, come on, Brian. I took the idea, we had talked about this service being more of a bus than a taxi. And I ran with that idea. And you're going to be getting an email from me with this on it. I'm running a class coming up. I'm running a class called How to Find Some Peace with Others and Yourself Too. That class is going to have an introductory shared ride van experience on May 25th at 5:15 p.m. Pacific. You'll get details about it because you're all on my mailing list. I'm going to ask you if you feel, and I'm directly talking to you who are at this service, if you have gotten a sense of peace, a sense of something related to peace from my work, would you please send your friends? Would you please consider, when you get the email about how to find some peace with others and yourself too, when you get an email about this course, would you please forward it along to 3 people, 5 people, with a note that say, I listened to this guy. He's got some stuff going on that works. Show up to the, so there's a free information session on the 25th, which is coming up. You'll get an email all about it. Would you please send that to your friends? Thank you. Okay. I have the rest of my thoughts for today's service. Let me see if I've missed any announcements. Also, I got a note back from James. A lot of you keep in touch with our friend James, who's in prison. He wrote something I thought was so charming. He says, Rabbi, I'm still taking the high road. It's just I'm getting sick of heights. I thought
that would be James.
That's James's writing. If you do not yet have, how many of you have read this little tome, Rabbi Brian's Reluctant Revelation? Oh, look, we got ones right there. Maria's got one. Charlene's got one in her hands right there. Maria, it looks like you colored in some of the front of it. No? Okay.
You put a sticker on the O. That was there when I got it.
Oh, I did? I'm funny.
Yeah,
I didn't know
sticker.
I did that. Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Did you send one of those to me? I didn't see one.
I might not have. Shoot me an email. Cousin Amy, you got one too?
I got one too, but it didn't have a sticker on the front. It just had an inscription inside.
Okay. I truly don't remember putting a sticker on the front. So,
I got a signed copy.
yes. If you too would like to get your own signed copy of this little book, if you make a donation to Religion Outside the Box at the $18 a month level, if you've already making that donation, let me know. I'll send you a copy of the book. If you would like to make a donation or you'd like a copy of the book, send me an email and I'll see what I can do to make sure that.
And I promise it's a wonderful read.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying, Amy. Thank you.
And it's not because you're my cousin.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Okay. I have the next thing that I don't want to ask, but I'm going to. I'm going to ask you to do the following thing to please be of help to me. I'm going to take a little bit of time today. Take a little bit of time out of the service, and I'm going to ask you to make the following notes. I cannot believe I'm actually asking you guys to do this. I get a sticker for putting myself out there and making a request. I'd love to be able to make a little video salutation.
Oh.
Salutation. So I'd love to make a little video that goes with this class that I'm trying to put together of how to find some peace with others and yourself. So I'd love to make a compiled video of people saying, "Hi, Rabbi Brian. You've taught me."
Hi, Rabbi Brian.
You've taught me blank, or I now blank. So those are options. So part A, hi Rabbi Brian. Part B, you've taught me blank, or I've learned from you blank, or I now blank. And then C, I am a lapsed Catholic, a recovering Jew, I'm whatever it was. And then D, it says, I thank you.
Question, do they have to all be included or can you exclude one of the A, B, C, or D's?
I don't know. I've not done this before. But I'm going to ask, and boy, this is feeling like, You know that feeling where you don't get the full air down at the bottom of your chest because you're a little bit anxious about making a request? I'm having that experience right now. I would love to have 3-4 people so I can have it recorded and I can splice it into a little intro video for the people at Progressive Christianity, the people at the newsletter, just to make a little video where you say, "Hi, Rabbi Brian," or "Hi, RB," or whatever you call me. I don't know what you call me, but making it direct to me. "You've taught me blank, I now blank. I am a Presbyterian minister in Waterloo, Ontario." Something like that, just by example. And then I thank you. Can I ask, can we give that, anyone at the ready for those 4 parts? And Alex, if you would spotlight the video, the camera, so that I can.
I'm working on that right now.
And do we have a volunteer?
We could do one.
So can I.
Okay, go. Let's start with you, Amy. If you and everyone who's not this is the part where I'm feeling totally guilty of taking your service time for being self-serving towards me. Oh, and we're in.
You need to put your thing back.
I'm going to. Hold on.
It's Rabbi.
What happened, Alex?
You need to show your list again.
Is this conceit or pride?
There.
That's a great question, Steve. I'm feeling like it goes towards conceit. You're absolutely right. That's exactly, I am on topic. So, Alex, if I have it this way, I don't get the recording. I just hit record here. That's fine. So
recording
if I can
in progress.
Can I get 3 volunteers of people to say a thing? Go ahead, Ray.
I'll do it.
Here, let me spotlight Ray. Hang on.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself for doing this, and I kind of want to throw up. Okay, good.
You probably want to spotlight Ray as well, so that it goes onto the recording correctly.
He's spotlit. That's good.
No. I mean in your screen view.
I'm not doing my screen view. I'm just going to take the recording from here.
Okay, here we go, whether you can see me or not. Greetings, my dear Rabbi. You have taught me to use my inner peace in a way that is beneficial to me and others. I now do so. I am a progressive person and a child of the Great Spirit, whoever that and whatever that is. I thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Fantastic. Let's have another one if we would. Yeah, go ahead. Alex, call somebody out who you're going to spotlight.
Okay, let me get Emily. She had her hand up next. I'm just moving the spotlight here. We've got a little bit of lag here again. I don't know why. Okay.
We got it or no?
I spotlit her, but it's not responding. Let me try again.
Do you want me? When do I start?
There you are.
Go ahead, Emily.
Oh, hi, I'm Emily. What I appreciate about you, Rabbi, is that you bring out the best in me. That's why I keep coming. I'm a recovering evangelical. Thanks be to God. And I thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Let's get 2 more, can we?
Yeah, I'm going to spotlight Amy next, but let me just get it to work here. I don't know why all of a sudden it's just bogging down in a lag. Okay, Cousin Amy.
Hi, Rabbi Brian and dear cousin. I thank you for teaching me how to be kind to myself as well as to others. I am a Jew, but also an avid follower of you at this point. I thank you, Rabbi Brian.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you, Amy. Alex, you bring us 1-2 more people?
Okay. Did I see Charlene's hand up?
Hi, Rabbi Brian. You've taught me to be kind to myself and to others with amazing results. I now have shoved off the blanket of shame I've carried for years and years. I am a searching person, a humanist. I love theology, and I thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. All right, and we got anyone else chomping at a bit?
I think Steve had his hand up too. Let me.
No, he did not.
No. Okay, Jocelyn, did you have your hand up?
I could do it really quickly.
Let me replace the spotlight here. Hang on one second. We got some really incredible lag all of a sudden here.
It is my face.
Go ahead.
Okay, Jocelyn, go ahead.
Salutations, Rabbi Brian. You have helped give me a sense of community. I am a very spiritual person, and that is very important to me to have other spiritual people that I could talk to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jocelyn. All right, let's go back to our regular scheduled program. Alex, thank you for doing that. I'm going to stop the recording here.
Recording stopped.
So to go back to what Steve added in, which connects this all together, my great fear of this looking like conceit would keep me from being proud. And I bet I'm not the only one. Go ahead, Ray.
I think the difference is when someone is conceited, they think that they are the very, very best, and no one can come up and do things as well as they do. I have never got that or seen that in you. You have pride in what you do, but you openly realize that there may be others that do it as well.
Thank you, Ray. And I would say here's going to be the end moral of this whole story. And I hope you can hear these words echo in your head for the rest of the week. There is no one on the planet who can be you better than you. And you can be, and you deserve to be, proud of who you are and what you have done, without that falling into conceit. And if I could dip my toes a little bit in further today, you can too. Steve, you have a comment to end us up with?
Sure. Being the leader is a difficult place because the focus and what we have to offer is both our content and ourself.
Yeah.
And many of us get distracted by believing that the product is ourself.
Correct.
And certainly what you have to teach is a byproduct of who you are. But what you're selling is not Rabbi Brian, even though your name is on the service. What you're selling is the content of the service, which is something of which to be proud and isn't conceit. But that's a very fine line that we all walk when we take on that leadership role.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for helping to normalize that. Folks, we are at 9 o'clock. Please stick around. I'm going to be in a breakout room for about 15 minutes if you want to find me there. Otherwise, I think we got donuts opening and deep dive opening, poetry room opening. Thank you guys for all showing up. I'm going to do the camera so we can all wave.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Say goodbye to each other.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Brian.
And Alex, you are in charge. I've saved the chat.
Okay, so the breakout rooms should be